Hey folks, this is a 2012 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited with a 3.6 liter V6. Just taking this video, this thing's been relatively trouble-free for about the past 57,000 miles. Haven't really had too many issues with it at all. Been making sure the fluids are right and changing the oils and doing all those normal things and brakes and whatever needs to be done. But at the end of the day, there's always something that comes out with these cars nowadays, and it shouldn't. And this video is really to kind of illustrate that. So I started noticing a oil leak on my garage floor a couple weeks ago, and so of course, like any good mechanic, I start looking around for possible reasons for that. And one of the things I saw was my power steering fluid seemed to be a little low, so I decided to top that off a little bit with the right fluid, because you can't just put ATF4 in this. You got to put, actually, it's a hydraulic fluid meant for the electric power steering pump, which is right there. And as I was looking down here, and on the top of the skid plate, there's a plastic skid plate that's mounted under there. I noticed a pool of oil underneath these two power steering lines right over in this area. And you can't see it right now because the skid plate's been removed, but I thought maybe the lines were leaking or seeping or whatever. So, but I couldn't see. These two connections were dry right here and here, but up near the radiator is where the oil seemed to be coming from. So as I took the skid plate off, I realized that I'm gonna have to see, because you can't see from the bottom, you're gonna have to take off the front bumper cover. Good thing is I already know how to do it. It's pretty straightforward. Not for the squeamish, because you think you might break something, but when in actuality the bumper cover is just a big piece of relatively flexible plastic, and it comes off pretty easy. But you got to take off the bumper cover and the grill. The grill is held on by two bolts, one here and one on the other side, and then about 4 clips on the top. You just pop it off. Pretty straightforward to take it out. I had to take all this apart because my horns, actually one of them went out late last year, and kind of annoying and embarrassing sound, but the only way you can get to these bad boys is to take the whole front bumper off and the grill. So here we are again with the same thing. So anyway, get a little brake clean and started cleaning everything off down here. This is where it was really oiled up, and I thought maybe it was coming through one of these lines, maybe a connection here. This right here on the up top here is the power steering cooler. So you have the two lines coming in and out, and they seem pretty dry after I sprayed them clean, and everything seemed to be good with this. But then I noticed this oil was oil all up and down the side here, and I was like, huh, that's kind of interesting, and there has to be something spraying out if it's power steering fluid. But again, everything seems pretty dry up here, even after I cleaned it. After I cleaned everything, I ran the motor a little bit to try to see where something was coming out, if anywhere. And I was shocked to find that you've got a number of different areas here that are seeping, starting right around here, and a couple other ones down here. It's hard to tell if this is just leaking everywhere down, but at the end of the day, it's definitely leaking here. I actually saw it happening when the motor was running. This is a combination AC condenser and transmission cooler, and judging by the size of the tubes, I think maybe the top portion is for transmission and the bottom thinner tubes are for AC. The fluid that's coming out of here seems kind of yellowy, clear. Not clear, but yellowy, but not red, or not, there's no dye, because I don't know if there's any dye in the system from the dealers or from the manufacturer, but it's definitely some kind of, it appears hydraulic fluid. It's slippery. It could be AC oil. I don't know. But for sure it's coming out of this side of the condenser cooler. This is not a job that I'm going to be able to handle, only because I don't have the refrigerant recovery tools. While I might have a test set and your normal can of coolant, to top off some of the older R134A systems, I'm not going to do it for this one because the car is so relatively young. But what's going to happen is this whole unit here is going to have to be replaced, and it's about $330 on one of the factory Mopar websites that are out there. And you end up having to take off, this is your connection to your AC pump, your refrigerant pump, and the suction and the liquid line are here. There's your switch back there. And then on the other side of this guy, in this kind of dark area here, it's hard to see, but up in there, you've got the connector for the transmission coolant lines, your in and out. So you got to take apart all that. Not to mention, Chrysler in their infinite wisdom gives you one of these tamper resistant dipstick tubes that only the authorized people can somehow take out for whatever reason. I don't know why they did that, but you've got to, I don't know if that's where you fill it or you got to go down below. But you can't check your fluid, you got to bring it into the dealer. Pretty soon these cars you're not going to be able to, as a owner, you're not going to be able to actually do anything on them other than change the oil and change the air filter and change a headlamp. They make it almost impossible for you to work on this without any specialized tools or anything else. But anyway, I thought I'd document this because there's a lot of folks out there who think this is a power steering leak like I initially did, but after I pulled the bumper cover off, it became clear to me that this is no power steering leak. And it's interesting because I bought the hoses and everything thinking, yeah, that's probably what it is. Well, not so. So got to put this whole thing back together again, and it's probably going to go to the dealer soon enough, because if I keep driving like this, maybe pretty soon I might not have any transmission fluid, or my air conditioning is going to go out. The AC seems to be working fine. Transmission seems to be working fine at the moment. Other than that, pain in the you-know-where. Thanks.